Right now, the electrical grid of the United States, for the most part, is close to maxed out. I mean, whether it's being fueled by solar or wind or fossil fuels or nuclear power, whatever the source of the electrical energy, we're maxed out. So what happens if we add 100 million electric cars to that electrical grid in the next few years? If we do the math, we end up with this. The folks that are trying to figure this out are not doing their math adequately and are not solving for this situation. And just so we make mention of this, as far as we understand, the folks that are planning on replacing the gasoline or diesel vehicles in the United States are planning on shipping the gasoline vehicles to third world countries where they'll burn gas and diesel fuel and keep the fossil fuel production and carbon going. So what's up with that? There are coal around the world. There are coal burning plants. I mean, in China, there's vast numbers of coal burning plants, and that's one of the main reasons for their massive pollution. In America, nuclear power and fossil fuel and coal are different sources. There's very little energy that's produced by, comparatively, by water, wind, or solar. So, of course, we need to, and if I'm speaking in ignorance, please, anybody who's got better information, say so, because I want to learn. It's vital that we shift over to more wind, water, solar, clean energy, and or hydrogen fuel, which is the pure gas hydrogen that is a source of electricity in certain kinds of electric vehicles. And there's paradoxes there because it takes energy to create solar cells. It takes electricity and it takes energy to create the materials that generate a solar cell that then create electricity. It takes electricity and energy to create a Tesla automobile, and it takes electricity that's generated via fossil fuels or nuclear energy to then create the electricity for that car, to keep it on the road and actually, and then of course that those electrical vehicles are made of artificial elements that are, in a large part, generated by fossil fuels, plastics, rubber, etc. Because a lot of rubber is really plastic. It's not made from rubber trees. and the seats are not all cloth. They may be made from artificial materials too. The doors, it takes electricity and energy to melt the glass to make the windows or the lights, or to melt the steel to make the frame or the engine. And the lithium is not a very abundant material in our world. Rare earth elements are located more in China than almost anywhere else. There are some off the coast of California, and we as a nation have not been mining them very effectively while other nations have. We're not chastising anybody for that. We're just describing. So what we're getting at by saying this is we have not got a handle on this as a nation or as a species. We don't understand how to transform. We don't have a plan for transformation. We don't have a path and a roadmap. We don't have truly a way to affect the solar or wind or power in our nation that needs to be affected in the time that's available to affect it. We've just passed a big bill in the Biden administration, the biggest bill ever. It's still not nearly big enough, in our view, to transform us to significant carbon reduction. And do we need to do a lot more arriving at understandings? We sure do. Are we doing it fast enough? Absolutely not. Are there people who are trying to make short-term money producing electrical vehicles, even if there's no electrical grid to support them. Yeah. Is it a well-intentioned thing? Yeah, in many ways it is. And what's going to happen when those electric cars wear out? What, are they going to become part of a landfill? Are they going to become part of a plastics pollution process on this planet? They sure are. Just so we've made mention of this, Bill Gates is trying to develop a new kind of battery that's not as light or easily put onto a vehicle as lithium batteries. That said, they're batteries that last longer than lithium batteries, and also are heavier, and don't wear out as fast as lithium batteries do. So lithium batteries wear out. They're good for a few years, and then they're not. So is this new battery technology by Bill Gates' organization or the solution to all things? Nope. Is it going to help? We hope. Are the current farming techniques that we utilize that are based on fossil fuel-driven dynamics, and the usage of heavy pesticides and artificial farming, artificial ingredients, nutrients in the soil, fertilizers, did they literally kill the soil, kill all the bacteria, the biological organisms, the worms that would aerate the soil? Yes, they do. Do they produce more food that's less healthy faster? Yes, they do. Is that a problem? Yes, it is. Once we've killed the soil, can we regenerate it very rapidly? We don't have a way in the present moment, as far as I'm aware, to do that. So are we stuck with our current farming techniques? Perhaps, unless we develop some new technology to restore the soil. Does that mean agroecological efforts that can be done in areas where the soil has not been previously artificially tilled and food generated in it may save us from our prior farming techniques? Yep, maybe to a degree. Is it imperative that as a world we learn all of this stuff as fast as we can and make wise decisions as fast as we can? Absolutely, yes. And are there vested interests in current farming techniques, even if it's just to keep food on the table in America or in other countries? There certainly are. Do we need 27 different kinds of milk to be on the shelves, or 17 different kinds of butter, or a bajillion kinds of frozen dinners? That's an open question. Can we do with less? Have we become habituated and addicted to more variety and customization? Can we dial it back as a nation and say, we choose proactively right now to do with less and eat less, use less, buy less, make less, thus use less energy to do all of that, and be happy with less? So we dial down the need for electricity on the electrical grid and make it easier to shift to wind and water and solar.